All right guys, the yellow S15 is back on the dyno for something kind of interesting. You'll see this little tube here. It's because we wanted to put it back on the dyno with a back pressure sensor. On turbocharged cars, if you have crazy back pressure, it can cause the engine to think it's a smaller engine, and by that, at the same amount of boost, you'll be making less power, generating more heat, generating more cylinder pressure. It makes everything mad, and it's a good way to tell if you need to go up in your exhaust size of your turbo. But what we're doing today is we're gonna see what the back pressure is on its current setup with the wastegate recirculating into the exhaust. We're gonna see if removing that wastegate tube and dumping to atmosphere reduces the back pressure and allows this car to make more power at the same boost, and get to hear what it sounds like. You look good in yellow, bud.
What's up, baby? I like orange better though.
You like orange better?
Yeah.
You used to have the sickest orange Supra.
Yeah, I think it was pretty sick.
I don't know if I ever got it on camera because you wrapped it black after it was orange, right?
No, it was black and we wrapped it orange.
Got it. I'll see if I can find a photo to put on the screen, but it was pretty hot.
And then someone hit it and the insurance didn't want to cover the wrap, so I just unwrapped it.
Got it. So we got the Link ECU open, and there's
your back pressure.
I was gonna say, I hope that's not my oil pressure.
No, we stole the oil pressure connector.
So we have 0.6 PSI.
It's already 13.
Is that a lot, revving?
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
And the wastegate didn't even open.
Nah, and it's not gonna open on pre-rev.
All right, we'll see what happens. How bad is the back pressure?
52 pounds of exhaust pressure versus 30 pounds of boost.
And you usually want 1-to-1 as a rule of thumb, right?
Yeah, and this is a low compression motor, so you want to be closer to 1-to-1.
What is it?
It's 52 pounds in the turbo manifold.
That's kind of crazy.
30, right?
1-to-1, so 30-30, yeah. So this is like, I don't know.
So now we've got data, and we can see what it does with the wastegate dumped atmosphere. I have a feeling though it's not going to make a huge difference because it's such a crazy amount of back pressure.
1.7.
All right, so it's real easy to think yourself in circles with this stuff. Now that it's dumping to atmosphere, technically it should have a little bit better boost control, which would mean at the same wastegate duty cycle, it might make less boost and less power. But what we want to see is, does the back pressure go down with this change? You can see the tube used to go there, now it's got a plug, and then the wastegate just dumps right down onto the ground. I'm curious how it's going to sound different too. Maybe it'll sound spicy. So loud?
Hey, turn the fan off so we can really
I could hear it enough.
I know, but still.
Why does it sound so bad?
That's fine.
It was blah, 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 blah. It's so loud. It's definitely too much for me. I'm curious about what the data says, but I ain't gonna say it like this. I know it wasn't a full pull, but what is the data telling you? Does it help at all?
I don't think so, because it's already at, let's just do the math real quick. It's already at like 1.4 by 7,000, so it's just gonna keep going upside down.
That hurts my ears. Unfortunately, unintentionally, now that I know how bad the back pressure is on this car, it went from a data testing video to I'm putting a bigger turbo on my yellow S15. So I'm gonna pull the old one off and I'm gonna show you what we're sticking on there. And you know, as a side effect, we might end up making a little bit more horsepower. Now, normally on a car like this, I wouldn't end up changing turbo setups because the fab work is so beautiful. But thankful for me, Maple Mike is coming in town to do the headers on the big block car, and he says welding a new elbow onto a different turbo will take him all of maybe a half hour. So I'm gonna get it all staged up. That way when he gets here, he can lay some dimes, and then I can lay the pipe back in the car. Check out how handy this is. No tools needed for these Vibrant clamps, just pinch, one hand removal on these Vibrant HD clamps, boom. Beautiful. Now I probably have the most experience pulling turbos when I changed my turbo at what felt like every single month on my R32 sedan. So I gotta give a big shout out to both Sean and Maple Mike for making this car super easy to work on. I guess it helps that it's an SR22, but pretty much every fitting I can get a wrench to, I can spin them off by hand. It saves so much time when some turbos you can barely even fit a wrench in there, and it's a challenge. right, so what we had before was the Garrett G30 770, and what we're going up to is the Garrett G35 900. And this is my all-time favorite turbo on a 3-liter 2JZ RB26, you name it. I just think it's the perfect, super responsive spool for an engine that has a decent amount of displacement, and it'll make around 750 horsepower, which is usually about the sweet spot for a street car. Do I want to make that much on this engine? No, it's also not rated at that much. Would it be cool to make over 600? Yeah, it'd be pretty sweet. But the biggest reason we're going up in frame from the G30 is because we want the bigger exhaust wheel to flow more exhaust gas, since this VVL engine likes to breathe up top. Now, on the old setup, we were using a 101 hot side to try to combat some of the back pressure. Now that we're going up in frame, we can go down to an 8.3. Will we need to go up to a 101? Possibly, but we're gonna try the smaller AR first. And we'll go through and switch everything over. That way these two setups are identical. And one nice thing about Garrett is the hot sides stay so similar. They're obviously identical if you stay within the same frame, but from G30 to G35, we shouldn't need to modify the downpipe or do anything because the flanges are the same and they're in pretty much the same exact spot. And here's a good illustration for you on the difference on this tiny little exhaust wheel versus this big boy we got when we go to the G35. Will we lose a little spool? Probably, but hopefully not too much. All right, so small spoiler alert, I did drive it over the dyno and it feels like it spools the same as the tiny turbo, which makes me super happy. It still built a couple pounds of boost by like 3,200 RPM, which is where if I'm cruising, I wanna make sure that she's got a little bit of positive pressure. I'm just coming over here. Freddie's already done a couple hits. Is it looking happy?
I want a bigger turbo already.
You want a bigger turbo?
Yeah, I already told Sean.
No!
Yes.
No!
Yeah.
Is there still a lot of back pressure?
Yeah.
We can, remember I told you I thought it needed to go to a 101 and you were like, no, let's try the 8.3.
Try the 8.3. Blah, 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 blah.
All right, so we achieved the mission of reducing back pressure. We went down from 1.7 to 1, which means we had 1.7 times as much pressure in the exhaust manifold as we did on the boost side. Now, as the byproduct of going up in turbo, we also picked up some power. So before we were making 580, 600 on kill. Now we're making 660, and the trade-off was losing, let's call it 13 horsepower on spool up, so not too bad. I don't think it'll be massively noticeable. It hits maybe like another 100 RPM later, so it's not a huge difference. I think the worst difference in the mid-range is like 14 wheel right here, but overall that's incredible. It looks like we could even rev it higher. Did you increase the rev limit more, Freddie?
Yeah, I went to 8,800, but we're out of injector at 88. But we could go to like 9,200, but it's out.
Is the motor okay there?
Yeah, it's fine.
That's so
it's
sick.
like 98% duty cycle.
Damn. Turn the fuel pressure up or bigger injectors?
It's already at 55 base or 60 base.
Okay, so
yeah.
We enjoy the car with how it is.
Yeah, leave it alone.
All right. I'm excited to try it. That's a pretty big jump. And this is officially the biggest turbo I've ever put on a 4-cylinder. I think before this, the biggest turbo I ever had on a 4-cylinder was a G25 660.
Look at it, it looks proper in there, yeah.
I know. Well, the funny thing is, I was gonna say, it's the same, the wheel just gets bigger. So that's pretty cool. And it could even take a bigger turbo, I think. We're not gonna, but.
No, yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I would. If this was mine, I'd have a 1050 on it.
Yeah, I loved how it felt before. I just felt like up top it was mad. So hopefully it feels less mad now. Thank you, Freddie.
You're welcome.
Let's go try it. We almost went for our first test drive and I forgot something super, super important. That's when I took the interior apart. I wired in rolling anti-lag, or I should say I did half the job. I ran the wire to the handbrake, and then I don't trust myself pinning at the link ECU, so Freddie's doing that for me. And then we'll have rolling anti-lag. Great, right, Freddie?
Yeah, sick.
It'll sound sick. Why do you hate me?
I don't.
You heard that, Sean? We getting the bang bang rolling anti-lag.
That's dumb.
You're dumb. You're gonna ride it and you're like, that's the coolest shit ever.
No.
Yeah.
You know who you sound like?
Who?
Your girlfriend.
Yeah, but it's, on a drift car you don't need that, just clutch kick harder.
That's right. You should have seen her just drive. She was on 10.
I heard she was doing good. It was a combined effort between me and old Fred. I want to see. All right, I pulled this up, so I should be able to just pull this up a little bit. And I actually got this idea from you. You had on your Supra.
Yeah.
So let's see. Does the launch control enable in the link?
Oh, it's to the right, right there.
I know. I see it. Look at that. So all I gotta do is pull it up a little bit. It won't actually drag the handbrake. It's just enough for it to engage. Then I drop it down. Psh, psh. All right, so Freddie's been plugging away at a little bit of the drivability stuff. I'm not filming that because it's pretty boring, but I am about to give it a little surge for the first time so we can hear if it sounds like it's bigger turbo. Not gonna go big, just a little bit of. You know what's funny? It sounds less deep now.
Less deep.
The other one was like. Maybe because it was really mad. And now we have a proper sized one, it's less mad. The spool though is virtually identical to the G3770, which makes me really happy. I was worried about losing a little bit of drivability, but it's still beautiful. So like as an example, I'm at $3,000. I floor it, we're already in boost, build positive boost pressure, probably 8 or 9 pounds by $4,000. Pretty good for a 4-cylinder with a 900 horsepower turbo.
Put in third at like 25 and just flat.
So like, I could do a hit?
Yeah.
Like with the big turbo?
Yeah, you can go all the way if you want.
This is at $3,000, is that okay?
Sure.
I can hit it? Go. I'm gonna go all the way. Damn, this thing revs high now, huh?
8,800.
You know what's crazy though? It feels very anticlimactic rolling into it like that. Doesn't it?
This?
Yeah, the rattles. I know. It's better, but
Yeah.
I feel like it needs more power, Freddie.
Bro, I told you 1050, don't f with me.
We're over the horsepower rating for the engine already.
We just make a little less boost in the dyno.
So you're gonna add more boost?
So I added a little more duty cycle, so more boost. So that was 30 pounds. We ran about 33 on the dyno. So that's good for 50 wheel almost.
Yeah. Whatever RPM I'm at right now is like the ideal cruising. It's so quiet.
Yeah. That was 8,700, so you almost hit the chip.
I just shift before the rattle on the shifter gets too bag.
We can try anti-lag if you want.
Third gear for like 45.
Yeah,
is that
that's
enough?
good. Pull it up and just add it.
I feel like it's a little low in RPM to do it. Do you agree? I should, like, $4,000's way too low to do rolling any lag. Let me try it a little more RPM.
I mean, that built 11 pounds already.
Yeah. I think it was just too low of RPM. You're gonna try any lag?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it at 5,500 this time. Does it need to build more boost or do I need to leave it more RPM?
Let me poke around on it real quick.
Alright, trying some different anti-lag settings. I feel like I'm not waiting long enough.
So that style doesn't build it as fast.
Got it.
Same RPM.
So we have a weird issue where we're dropping fuel pressure in the lower gears, which typically would be related to like the G-forces, like you're having a fuel starvation issue. But this car's got plenty of pumps, it's got a surge tank, so it's not a normal thing. Freddie made a really cool choice, and he had me put a Link ECU PDM in the trunk to control the fuel pumps for this exact reason, so we could see what's going on in the event that we have a fuel pressure drop.
This is the current of fuel pump 2. No, fuel pump 1.
Yep.
Yellow. The current drops by about 5 amps. So something's wrong with that fuel pump.
It's this
is
little
the
drop
lift pump.
right here?
Yeah, so this one is the lift pump. Fuel pump 3 is your lift pump. It pulls like 12 amps because there's no resistance.
Yeah.
It's just filling an empty void. And then the green plot is fuel pump 2, and that's about 22 amps. But then the yellow one is fuel pump 1, and that one drops amperage. So to me, it's like the pump is running dry or has a poor connection, maybe inside the tank. But the odd part is, it doesn't do it on the dyno, and it doesn't do it in the higher gears.
So it's got to be related to the G-forces.
Right.
But we have a 3/4 tank. I mean, we could rule it out if it doesn't do it when it's full.
But the lift pump is not dropping amperage. Lift pump's fine.
So it's
The
like
lift pump is filling the surge, because you have one lift in like the stock location, and then you have 2 inside a surge tank that are a little higher up inside the tank that feed the motor.
weird.
Yeah.
I feel like because this car's so quiet, it's kind of anticlimactic now that it's extra spicy on video because it doesn't sound like anything's different. So we did the old school, stick a GoPro in the engine bay so you can get maximum turbo whistle, and we also did the same thing on the exhaust. So we're gonna get the most possible notes for you, and to make it even better, if you remember, I mentioned Maple Mike is in town, the dude that did the masterpiece of fabrication on the yellow S15, working on the big block headers right now, which is going to be the next video that you guys see. So I thought, how cool would it be to give him a ride in the car that he helped us build and see what he thinks about it. Maple Mike, I got good news and bad news.
What's the bad news?
The bad news is it just reminded me that I actually need to get your input on some stuff because I think I want to have you change some things.
Okay.
Namely,
What's the good news?
Well, the good news is it's so fast that it squats so much that it drags the muffler on the ground.
Oh, the system does hang low.
Yeah.
The middle muffler though, or the back? Middle one, not the
I'm
back.
not sure. I've just been told by pedestrians that it scrapes the muffler when I get on
Throws
two
white
steps.
sparks.
Yeah, it looks sick, honestly.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
it's not the best for longevity of the build. And number two, what was my second question? Is I need your professional opinion on how I can kill the drone.
Well, we might be able to kill two birds with one stone with your other problem.
Oh, you're saying if we raise it, then we could add like a resonator or something?
Or delete that mid muffler and try and add another titanium resonator and push it up a little higher at the same time. You know?
I think that center muffler might be a restriction. The induction noise is sick.
Oh yeah.
It's good. It's very good. It's that high cuts, dude.
Yeah, and you're right, it has some Honda vibes.
Yeah, right?
Sure. Yeah, the turbo flugger is insane.
It's a good rig. The drone honestly isn't too bad. It's just that certain certain RPM you'll hear it.
Yeah, your E46 was way
Yeah.
louder.
I know. I was so self-conscious. No one's ever made a comment about drone in my own cars except for the exhaust guy. We had the E46. We're going out. He goes, Adam, I'm surprised you're okay with this. This is really droning.
It is. This is quiet in comparison to your E46.
Doesn't it look like a tornado almost? How the rain is like a strip?
Yeah, it's Florida.
That's
It's
wild.
different.
You ready? We'll give it a second gear rev early. Bro, that's gonna be the craziest clip ever. So I realized we have a bigger problem.
What?
Bro, the amount of sparks flying in the rearview mirror is insane.
Oh, so it hit?
But I think the GoPro probably got that, dude. That's gonna look crazy.
And it was skirt. Pretty good. That was good.
It usually doesn't do it in third, but I tried real hard for you.
Yeah, no, that was good. You did good, Dad.
You feel she's kind of linear?
It feels very torquey, just like instant torque all the time.
The ratios are really good.
And it just sets you back. It's not too much, but it's just enough.
Man, I never looked in the rear view mirror. I feel kind of guilty now.
I kind of want to see that.
I know. Well, I'll do it again. Don't worry. So check out how linear it is, though. If I roll into it in third, you won't feel like a crazy torque. It won't spin or anything.
Yeah, that felt way faster than that last one.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, that felt like it was ripping.
I'll do 1, 2, 3, no any lag.
Yeah, it's fast. Very
car.
fast.
My criteria was just wanting to be able to beat Mustangs from the stop lane. I feel like this achieved that.
This will be Corvettes. Like this is.
Oh,
this
word?
Is fast. Yeah,
Oh, word?
Yeah, 100%. C6 and New Balances doesn't stand a chance. My C7 probably can't even hang.
It's basically a Japanese Corvette if you think about it. Are you ready? So apparently I did that on the highway, and it terrified the Karen that was behind me.
It throws a blanket of flame,
It
like
looks
sparks.
crazy.
Yeah, definitely need to do that at night before we fix it. That is sick. It's like a lowrider flex.
Hell yeah.
You put like titanium blocks on your
Yeah.
lowrider. You'll never know.
It's that little drone right there. Back to the drawing board. Mike's never leaving Florida.
God dang it, I'm gonna die.
I'll keep giving you more exhaust to do, brother.
All the tubes.
All the vibrant titanium. Literally 30 seconds later, this dude's already playing with tubes again. I'm really stoked to give you guys a huge update on the big block build, which will be coming very soon. But in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed us tinker with the yellow S15. It wasn't really something we were planning to do, but once we knew the back pressure was really bad, kind of couldn't resist, and having him here to be able to roll this up, that little elbow so we could swap out compressors was sick. So hope you guys enjoy this video and get stoked because we got a lot of big block stuff coming soon. I ran the wire to the handbrake, and then I don't trust myself pinning at the link ECU, so Freddie's doing that for me. And then we'll have rolling anti-lag, great, right Freddie?
Yeah, sick.
It'll sound sick. Why do you hate me? I don't.